and of the management that they thought that it is necessary to expand very rapidly the coverage of Doordarshan. So they devised a plan, they devised the frequencies for the transmitters, they devised the places where transmitters would be located, where they will be most beneficial to the people. They worked with the industry to manufacture those transmitters in the country, they manufactured the satellite dishes, and then they put up the transmitters, one transmitter a day.
Soon, the entire country was covered with low-power terrestrial transmitters. New centers were steadily added, and the hardware was constantly upgraded. An important challenge was to increase the emotional integration of the states of the northeastern region. A Doordarshan Kendra was opened in Guwahati. Till then, people in this region were recipients of television programs. Now, they also became proud contributors.
We
really wanted to take the eastern part of India to the rest of the world, rest of India. There were complaints that we are not seen and we are not heard properly. But today, after so many years, we have been seen.
DD2 was launched in 1984. For the first time, viewers were exposed to the works of great masters of world cinema.
J'avais tellement envie d'être actrice finalement.
Je mets un métier, il plaisait.
Ah oui, alors, je sais bien. Si Lucas n'avait pas été de sortir de ta maison de couture, je serais encore au milieu de tes chiffons. Bon, à vous.
Tu crois pas si bien dire. Et encore, tu ne sais pas tout. Si j'avais refusé de le suivre, il me l'avouait lui-même.
Eminent film producers and directors were invited to bring their work to the new medium. Internationally renowned director Satyajit Ray produced Sadgati, based on a classic Hindi short story written by Premchand. Tapan Sinha made Aadmi Aur Aurat, specially for Doordarshan.
अरे वकीलगंज को नो छोटी जगह नहीं चाहिए वकीलगंज कहाँ
अस्पताल.
Indian television experienced a thrilling boom. There was a ferment of ideas that resulted in a surfeit of riches. The pioneering program was Hum Log, a Hindi soap opera that highlighted the challenges of social change in a tradition-bound society and generated lively debate.
बच्चों को छोड़ के गाँव के वहाँ जा सकूंगी और अस्पताल में मेरा दिल घबराता है मैं तो नहीं ठीक हूँ जी
ठीक है मैं कौन सा हमेशा के लिए जा रहा हूँ मुझे गया और आया.
The spectacular success of Hum Log, penned by famous Hindi writer Manohar Shyam Joshi, encouraged others to try the serial format for other genres. Bunyad powerfully evoked the tragedy of the partition and the communal carnage that followed in its wake. It cast a magical spell over audiences. It was reported that when Bunyad was telecast, the streets in Pakistani cities were deserted. Everyone was glued to their TV sets. Revisiting the past may have been painful, but it was cathartic for many and allowed the younger generation to look beyond the scars and think of a shared future.
It was my meeting with Mr. Harish Khanna followed by a very good meeting with Mr. Manohar Shyam Joshi, which ultimately made up my mind that yes, if I have somebody like this behind me who's doing all the writing work, and then I have the confidence that because making something twice a week and 1 hour a week when I was used to making 1 hour a year was a bit of a mental block. The subject was so intriguing, the partition. That's where Mr. Harish Khanna said, if you do something on this, recreating that in part was an important thing and it never happened on television. So it was exciting to think about it and to bring it back on screen, and with very competent people around me who's able to have that confidence that I may be able to do something good.
और में मेरा कौन क्या बिगाड़ लेगा, छोटे पुलिस थाने में हिंदू हो या मुसलमान, इस शहर में हर किसी का मास्टर हवेली राम बीए का तवारीख और जोग्राफिया पढ़ा हुआ है। मास्टर हवेली राम बीए का जोग्राफिया जल रहा है, उनकी तवारीख जल रही है, उनका लाहौर जल रहा है।
Home entertainment acquired a whole new meaning with the advent of serials. Different genres were tried on the new medium. Television gave a welcome spur to sitcoms, talk shows and quizzes. Many other long-running serials telecast by Doordarshan regaled Indian audiences and set standards for others to follow. Ramayana and Mahabharata, based on the epics, were real blockbusters. Big-budget productions cast in the mold of mythological films, replete with period costumes, majestic sets and dazzling special effects. These enjoyed a very large audience, and the dramatic dialogues used filtered down into the popular idiom.
विराजी, किंतु आपने स्वयं यहाँ आने का कष्ट क्यों किया ताशी? मुझे बुलवा लिया होता?
At times, the mythological serials were criticized for their revivalist, tradition-bound outlook. But what can't be denied is that these engendered a lively debate about the relationship between the past and the present, ethics and values in everyday life in Indian society. Directors and producers took up the challenge of examining the present in the light of the more recent past and to exorcise painful ghosts. Tamas was a ruthlessly bold effort to explore the roots of communal prejudice.
Two of the really big soap operas that came up in my time were in fact the Ramayana and Mahabharata, and it is a fact that in those days mythologicals which came up at that point of time, the attraction was so immense that literally the streets of cities became deserted as people gathered in their houses to watch when these episodes were shown. We also saw Tamas, a great serial, being shown with huge, with a very, very large viewership. But at the same time, it attracted the anger of certain political elements. Vivid Nihalani, who is the maker of the serial, he was following Hisham Sani's story. So that was the line. But it was brilliantly done. There's no doubt about that.
Bharat Ek Khoj, directed by Shyam Benegal, was based on Jawaharlal Nehru's The Discovery of India and enlivened audiences with imaginative recreations of the past.
शासन नियमों का पालन करेगा और व्यवस्था को बनाएगा गणाधिपति। और दूसरे गणों का क्या होगा? आपसे ये बात छिपी हुई नहीं है कि सभी गणराज्यों का शासन अच्छा नहीं है।
DD's commercial service, that was started in 1976, began to register exponential growth as advertisers woke up to the potential of television. By this time, Doordarshan enjoyed unparalleled reach, penetration and impact. There was no dearth of sponsors for serials and sports programs.
Indian advertisers आए दूरदर्शन पे, जैसे निर्मा, विको, विमल, और ये ब्रांड जो है जो शुरू में आए बहुत बड़े ब्रांड्स बन गए. It was everybody who was in Doordarshan in the beginning advertising. They had the advantage of being the first movers and they became household names.
Throughout the tumult, Doordarshan remained conscious of its responsibility as a public broadcaster. Its programming emphasized the educational and the informative over the merely entertaining or escapist titillating fare. Programs like Turning Point and Quest were extremely popular and deserve special mention. Doordarshan included in its programming offerings that may have had a much smaller viewership, but that provided intellectual stimulation and raised the awareness of the audience about the world around it. Derrida, Chomsky.